President Tinubu departs Abuja on two-nation visit to Japan and Brazil, set to explore opportunities to strengthen cooperation. Federal Executive Council directs conclusion of procurement processes under 2024 appropriation by September 2025. Nigeria's Regional Development Minister visits China ahead of NEDC's procured e-buses for northeast mass transportation. Hello and welcome to the evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. President Bola Tinubu will depart Abuja on Thursday, August 14th, for a two-nation trip to Japan and Brazil. The president will stop over in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, before proceeding to Japan. In a release by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu, while in Japan, will attend the 9th Tokyo International Conference on African Development, TICAD 9, in the city of Yokohama from August 20th to 22nd, with the theme Co-Create Innovative Solutions with Africa. The Nigerian president will also hold bilateral meetings and meet the chief executive officers of some Japanese companies with investments in Nigeria. Initiated in 1993 by the Japanese government and co-hosted by the United Nations UNDP, the African Union Commission and the World Bank, TICAD is a triennial conference held alternately in Japan and Africa. The last one took place in August 2022 in Tunisia. The forum fosters high-level policy dialogue between African leaders and development partners. At the end of TICAD 9, President Tinubu will leave for the Brazilian capital, Brasilia, on a two-state visit from Sunday, August 24th to Monday, August 25th. This follows an invitation by the Brazilian President, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. While in Brazil, President Tinubu will hold bilateral meetings with his host and attend a business forum with Brazilian investors. His delegation comprises key ministers and senior officials, and they will explore opportunities to strengthen cooperation and sign agreements and memoranda of understanding with the Brazilian government. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has commenced processes towards fast-tracking improvements in the power supply situation across the country, with approvals on procurement and debt servicing processes. This was one of the major decisions at the Council's meeting this Wednesday. State House correspondent Musbah Dan Mahab reports on this and other decisions of the Council.
The Federal Executive Council this day recorded notably low number of memos, but with significant outcomes. Far-reaching as they come, with President Bola Tinubu himself taking the floor to update his foot soldiers on the indices for social and economic progresses. He recommitted to building the proposed 1 trillion naira economy by 2030. But on these, he wants ministries, departments and agencies' dedication to optimizing public savings and spending efficiencies. The president also announced the cooperation elicited from the sub-nationals on the Renewed Hope World-Based Development Program.
And that collaboration is going to be key in the world-based initiative across 8,809 wards to provide, in all the 774 local governments, to provide funding, support, and facilitation to thousands of economically active individuals at the grassroots in each ward. And this is a way of addressing poverty and ensuring, as Mr. President has promised, that no Nigerian will be left behind. So it's a collaboration between the federal, the states, and the local governments, prioritizing productivity-enhancing investments.
The coordinating minister got approval to commence a phased plan for the refinancing of the electricity sector outstanding obligation of 4 trillion naira. 3 of the memos approved for the Power Ministry are for the procurement of various grades of power transformers to replace the dilapidated ones across the national grid. The 14 transformers procurement will cost the government more than $34 million.
If this is done, it will not only enhance power supply, but to also relieve overloaded power transformers that is operating across the national grid. And this will also enable us to cope with the increased wheeling capacity of the national grid. The national grid is over 50 years old, and we know that a lot of the power transformers, the cables, they are old, they are weak, so there is the necessity for us to regularly maintain the grid and replace all these old and dilapidated infrastructure.
Another memo approved for the ministry is for the disbursement of compensation for the right-of-way for the Lagos-Ogun Industrial Hub Transmission Project. The project is being financed with a $238 million development loan from the Japanese government. The Council equally approved commencement of a new policy towards strengthening tertiary education institutions in the country with approval of a 7-year moratorium for establishment of new federal tertiary institutions.
The FEC decision today is the most pragmatic and the best for our educational system, for our tertiary educational system, so that we can sustain the respect that the world has for us. We can now begin to mobilize resources to improve infrastructures, both manpower and physical infrastructures, in the current institutions that we have as a federal government. If we do this, we'll also expand, we'll be able to improve quality of education, and more importantly, increase the carrying capacities of these universities, of these called polytechnics and colleges of education. There's several.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Transportation got approval for the construction of bus terminals, one in each of the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, with consideration for economic viability of the locations. From the State House, Musbah Wahab, NC News.
Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has directed that all procurement processes under the 2024 appropriation should be concluded by September 2025. This was one of the directives following the presentation of the Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurements, Dr. Adedokun Adebowale, to the Council. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, announced the 6-point directive on public procurement at the briefing of the FEC meeting.
And that awards should only be made subject to the availability of funds to avoid unnecessary liabilities. The second one is that ministers are requested to forward to the BPP a comprehensive list of projects that have been awarded under their ministries and their parastatals for the 2024-2025 fiscal years for analysis and transmittal to the President's office. The third one is that ministries, departments, and agencies should give preference to made in Nigeria goods. Now, recall that the Federal Executive Council had earlier approved the Nigeria First policy, where a directive has been given to MDS to prioritize only made in Nigeria products unless and until there are situations where this, of course, is not possible. And so further to that, Mr. President and the Federal Executive Council today considered that MDS must give preference to this, the local use of companies in the delivery of works and services. And these works, goods and services must, however, conform to international standards and must be certified by relevant government agencies. Because we say that we want Nigeria first policy, does not mean that procedures and processes will not also be followed.
Other points include that ministers ensure that a significant number of their projects under the 2025 fiscal year are procured through the open competitive bidding. The council also mandated the finance minister to ensure that the DG BPP is always involved in loan negotiations for infrastructural development purposes. Government-owned companies and enterprises are equally directed to always comply with the Finance Act of 2020 in their procurement processes. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, says the Renewed Hope agenda is real and is working. The minister disclosed this at a parley with media executives and influencers in Enugu as part of activities to commence the three-day citizens' engagement and tour of federal government projects in Enugu and Ebonyi states in the southeast. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports that the minister was represented by the permanent secretary of the ministry, Chinasa Ogbodo.
We will embark on a tour of ongoing and commissioned projects of the federal government and those of government of Enugu State. Same day shortly after the tour of the projects, we will be having a citizens engagement forum here in Enugu State Government House by 6 p.m., at which we will have the opportunity to rub minds and get feedback from various stakeholders in Enugu State. This pattern will be repeated in Ebonyi State, where His Excellency Governor Ogbonne Nwifuru will be receiving us on Friday, August 15th, 2025. The two citizens engagement events will be broadcast live on national news networks.
The team embarking on this engagement is made up of officials from the Ministry of Information and National Orientation and its agencies, members of the National Communications team, and other critical stakeholders. Let's take a break now. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
Engineered to perfection, every component is crafted with care, and each design is meticulously tested. From concept to creation, our engineers push the boundaries of technology, seamlessly blending performance and sustainability with a deep commitment to African ingenuity. Introducing the CNG Boss, a remarkable achievement in engineering designed to operate on compressed natural gas, a cleaner and more sustainable fuel alternative. At Innocent Vehicles, we proudly lead the way in creating greener mobility across Africa. And it doesn't stop there. From SUVs to sedans, spacious buses to electric cars, Innocent offers a wide range of models designed to meet every need. Innocent Vehicle, the pride of African roads.
Its former glory and elevate its status on the global stage. First, the inefficient road network will be replaced with two independent ring roads, the outer ring for departures and the inner ring for arrivals. Second, the existing structure of Terminal 1 will be strengthened to improve its integrity. A connection building will link the two terminals, and the skywalk will connect the car park to Terminal 2, ensuring seamless passenger movement within these facilities. Meanwhile, this half-century-old Terminal 1 will undergo comprehensive modernization, featuring an enhanced eagle-inspired architectural design that symbolizes a soaring and hopeful Nigeria. The upgrades will include both interior and exterior enhancements, improved passenger facilities, and advanced mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems to enhance operations and capacity. Terminal 2 will also undergo upgrades, including refurbished platforms, enhanced canopies, expanded boarding fingers, and an enlarged apron for greater efficiency. Once completed, passengers at MMIA will enjoy a significantly enhanced travel experience. The redesigned infrastructure will provide well-organized and direct access to the terminal buildings, improving efficiency. Optimized internal circulation will ensure uninterrupted movement for arriving and departing passengers. Additionally, modernized facilities, upgraded amenities, and an aesthetically immersive environment will create a more comfortable, seamless, and enjoyable journey for all travelers. Under the Renewed Hope initiative, we're leveraging global expertise in airport engineering and cutting-edge digital systems to transform MMIA into a safer, smarter, greener, and more efficient aviation hub. Finally, the nation will be filled with hope, paving the way for a brighter future.
Welcome back. The Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, was among respected voices from across government, religion, the academia, and diplomacy drawn at the unveiling of the Nasrullahi al-Fatih Society. The first 25 years with commendations on NASFAT's impactful journey and continued relevance. Suleiman Abdul Wahab reports.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, expressed pride in NASFAT evolution and applauded the leadership, membership, and the author, Professor Shian Oyefeso, for documenting a story that transcends religion's boundaries.
Let's read and let's ponder on what is in the book, and let's also try to work with what we believe is the best thing for us as Muslims, as non-Muslims in this great country. Let's pray for our leaders every time.
He stressed the importance of praying for the national leaders and urged the completion of the Lagos Ibadan NASFAT Mosque.
This book is a valuable resource for understanding of our past and a tool for inspiring future generations. As we celebrate our 30th anniversary, which falls within this year, this publication is a gift to posterity. It tells our story with candor and clarity, how young Muslim professionals inspired by the need for spiritual connection and community building come together to create a movement that will redefine Islamic propagation in Nigeria and beyond.
The 360-page book traces NASFAT's transformation from a small prayer group in Lagos to a global Islamic organization. It highlights key milestones such as Fountain University, NASAS, Tafsan, and Havek Academy, reflecting NASFAT's balance of spirituality and professionalism.
Because it teaches us about leadership. Even an organization that started with 10 members now has hundreds of branches all over the world within just 25 years. It means that everybody who's interested in making something happen has something beneficial.
Nobody ever thought NASFAT will grow up and expand to what we have today. Imagine a few families sitting down together and say we want to be coming together to be having a salatu, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed it. NASFAT is in over 360 locations across the globe. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin for the journey so far.
It also touches on NASFAT's impact in education, interfaith dialogue, and youth development, including partnership with bodies like UNICEF, NAPTIP, and many more. In Abuja, Suleiman Tobu Abdul Wahab, NT News.
The federal government reaffirms its commitment to partnering with the youths to promote peace, stability, and national development in line with President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, gave this assurance when he received a delegation from the Niger Delta Progressive Youth Leadership Foundation, led by its president, Adam Ogomungo Marbu, represented by the Permanent Secretary overseeing the General Services Office, Mohamed Sanusi Danjuma. He stated that the Tinubu-led administration is eager to engage the youth in promoting peace and unity in the country. He emphasized that true development requires peace to thrive. Danjuma added that the office will collaborate with relevant ministries, departments and agencies, as well as the private sector, to empower youth through access to opportunities and a conducive environment. This, he believes, will enable them to contribute to the country's economic development. The Special Prosecution Team of the Interagency Task Force, recently inaugurated by the federal government to investigate and prosecute crimes within the hydrocarbons sector, has raided an illegal oil refining site in Oyibo local government area of Rivers State, apprehending the owner of the facility. Osinachi Samuel reports.
The task force, empowered by the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, the Miscellaneous Offences Act, and other relevant environmental and criminal laws, has intensified its operations nationwide. Within the period, it has uncovered multiple illegal refining sites, intercepted stolen crude oil shipments, and secured several convictions against offenders. In its latest operation, the Special Prosecution Team, in collaboration with Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, raided an illegal oil refining facility in Oyibo local government area of Rivers State, arresting the owner of the site. According to the head investigation Special Prosecution Team, Omar Sini, the crackdown underscores federal government's commitment to protecting national assets and curbing environmental degradation. He noted that so far about 305 suspects have been handed over to the task force by various government security and intelligence agencies, out of which 108 are currently being remanded in prison custody, while 38 cases are ongoing across the Niger Delta states.
Since the commencement of operation of the SPT, particularly on the 1st of March 2025 to date, we've discovered several cooking sites where illegal activities are going on that led to the arrest of suspects, not an interview. Also, we discovered a place where an illegal refinery is going on in the middle of a pig farm. We went there, obtained samples, but the owners refused to show up. Investigation is ongoing, and a lot that, of course, because it's not due for us to, it's not time for us to disclose details, just so that we don't make the case suffer.
With the progress recorded so far by the team, stakeholders believe that these efforts by the federal government can safeguard Nigerians' oil assets, attract more investment, and ensure sustainable growth in the sector. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative will kick off in the first week of September, with the number of participants increasing from 21,000 to over 41,000. Joseph Ortsen reports that Director General, National Directorate of Employment, Silas Agara, told journalists at a media briefing that some schemes had been merged to accommodate the high level of interest nationwide.
28 July 2025, the National Directorate of Employment launched the application portal for the second phase of the Renew Hope Employment Initiative. The 2 weeks registration for skills acquisition training ended on August 11th. With the portal now closed, the selection process is underway to determine the beneficiaries.
There's a certain level of transparency, which is the portal. Anybody can go. Because it will be wrong for us to sit in the headquarters and approve names and load it on the state. That would be the wrong way to go about it. Because the training centers that are available to us are scattered all over the state.
NDE Director General Silas Agara says 41,307 successful applicants will be notified on the 1st and 2nd of next month. Each ward nationwide will have a minimum of 4 beneficiaries who will undergo entrepreneurship training in about 30 different skill sets based on needs assessments.
We are happy that some of the financial institutions, some of the institutions we are working with will be supporting us in terms of
resettling some of our beneficiaries. And so that made it a bit easier for us to increase the number.
Over 400,000 people applied for the scheme. The Northwest recorded the highest number with about 909,000 applications, followed by Northeast with 93,000, North Central 83,000, Southwest 56,000, and South-South with 38,000, and the Southeast recording the lowest with around 29,000 applications. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The Minister of State for Regional Development, Subame Gari Amadu, has visited Ankai Automobile Company Limited in Hefei, Anhui Province, China, to assess the progress of the manufacturing of e-buses procured by the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, for mass transportation in the Northeast region. The minister was accompanied by the Managing Director, NEDC, Mohammed Al-Khali, management and some board members of the Commission. The visit highlights the NEDC's commitment to improving transportation infrastructure and promoting sustainable development in the region. The e-buses are to provide efficient, environmentally friendly and reliable transportation services, enhancing the quality of life for residents and supporting economic growth. The minister's visit is focused on assessing manufacturing progress, ensuring the e-buses are being produced according to specifications and timelines. The NEDC's initiative to introduce e-buses for mass transportation demonstrates its commitment to sustainable development and improving the lives of Northeast residents. And with that, we conclude the evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.